unidentified flying object.
Look at that thing, dude.
Mysterious objects flying over Eugene.
We all believe some kooky things.
Breaking news of an apparent shooting for former U.S. President Donald Trump.
Thousands of migrants in Mexico. Pride parade.
Lockdown is going to start again all over the world.
We'll keep the fire threat very high.
We were not prepared for this.
Hey, let me make sure that you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Looks like audio's good. Give me just like a little bit of love. It's been a little while since I've gone live with you guys. Been working on a lot of other things in the background. Been working on the podcast, Directed Life, doing a lot of really great interviews. Really appreciate all the love for the interviews. Been doing a lot of like the Kap Reacts stuff recently. And okay, good. Looks like I got you guys. Do me a favor. Please do me a favor. Like the stream, share it. Share it with anybody. Share it to your Facebook page. Share it on X. Just share it, guys. Because I don't even really have a lot prepared, to be very honest with you. I've had a really hard few days with everything going on with the passing of Charlie Kirk. And I'm going to like really try to be very composed in how I talk about this, because it's just like it's hit me so hard. It's just for context for anybody who is wondering why it's taken me so long to actually create a video about this or go live. My wife and I were in Florida this past week. We were actually we were at a business conference. We were at Patrick Bet David, cultural commentator, conservative, follower of Jesus, businessman, a guy who's a mentor to me. I went to his event with my wife, and I even knew, it's crazy. I knew that this event would be different. I knew that us going together and spending time with Pat, I'm going to see if I can even pull up a picture for you guys to see, so you can get like a little visual reference. So you guys are just getting the raw, you guys are hanging out with me as if we're grabbing coffee today. This is going to be as real and raw and unorganized as it gets. Is that cool? Let me just pull up a picture so you can kind of see what, let me see if I can get screen window. Here we go. Got a chance to hang out with Patrick Bet David this weekend in Florida. And oh my God. I was in we were in the third keynote of the weekend. It was Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins was speaking. And it was great. He was doing awesome. It was just a cool experience. Met so many believers. Met so many patriots. Met so many people who love God, and people who are just recently gotten saved, and people, business owners of massive businesses, like 9-figure businesses, 10-figure businesses, like people from all different walks of life, 60 different countries, all come into one place. And there was this like thing in the air of people wanting to be a part of something bigger, wanting to be a part of like this movement of this resistance against just the evil and the wickedness in the world and the marketplace and politics and education. So we all see it. You guys know I talk about this stuff all the time. Like, I have a really strong mission to take back culture from the devil and to expose what's going on, and then reveal righteousness and help people understand like what's true, what's right, which way's up. And so we're in the middle of this. It's already been an amazing week, and we're in the middle of this Tony Robbins thing, and I'm just getting so many text messages from people. And it's just like, Charlie got shot, Charlie got shot, Charlie got shot. And I was like, wait, what? And then I'm like, I'm on social media. I'm trying to understand because it's all happening like real time. And then my wife, she shows me a text that she got, and somebody sent her a photo of him after he got shot in the neck. And when I saw the photo, it was like a lightning bolt hit my soul. I slammed my phone down on the table I was sitting at in this auditorium of 10,000 people. And I just got up. I was trying so hard not to throw up. And I went out in the lobby, and I, I didn't know if he was dead. I saw like he was in critical condition. And I'm in the lobby, and there's people who recognize me, who are coming up to me. And I'm like, it was like I was underwater because it was like all of the sound went away. Like I couldn't hear anything. Um, but then there's like these younger guys who are coming up to me like, "Hey, are you Kap? Dude, I love your stuff." And I'm not saying that to like say I'm sweet. I'm just telling you what happened. And usually when people do that, it's like I stop everything and I'm so focused. I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful that people would give me their most valuable asset that they'll never get back, which is their time. And people actually will listen to my stuff and they watch my stuff. And so these young guys come up to me, they're like, dude, what's up, bro? Like, Kap, it's so good to see you in person. And I just saw right through them. I couldn't even pay attention because I'm just like, I'm just processing this news. And then I show them, I was like, did you hear? And then you could just see you could see the blood just come out of their, like leave their faces. Like they were just like, no, what? And it's almost like I'm just like I'm still trying not to throw up, but I'm like, I don't know if he's dead. I don't think he's dead yet. And then I was standing by this pillar, and then my other friend came up, who's in the human trafficking fight, and he's got friends who are part of Turning Point USA and really close to Charlie, and then we were praying together, and then he was on the phone, and he said he's gone. And I literally fell to the ground and just started weeping. I haven't wept like that in a long time. I haven't wept in response to sadness in a long time. I weep in the presence of God a lot. Like if you come to my church and you see me in worship, if I'm not crying, you should be concerned because I'm always crying in the presence of God. This is the first time in a long time where I was like weeping and sobbing, and like there's these sounds. There was these sounds coming out of me in my travailing that I haven't heard myself. I've never heard myself. Well, I don't want to say never. I haven't heard myself as a grown man cry like that in a long time. And the sound of me crying in my hands, sobbing as hard as I was sobbing, it was like foreign to me in my ear. It's like this. So this is what I sound like when I'm broken. Like that's what I was thinking. And then the rest of the night just was like it was really hard because I know that I was there for a reason. Like I know that I was there at that event for a reason. And I want to talk about Charlie a lot. I'm going to in a second because there's so much I want to say about him and why I think this hurts so much. And I'm seeing the comments. It seems like a lot of you kind of felt the same way when you found out about this news. And some of you were like confused about this picture on the screen. Again, I was at the Vault conference led by Patrick Bet David when we found out about the news. I'm going to try and find a different picture so that it's a little bit more relevant. Give me one sec. See if I can just, here we go. So I'm still at this event, and, you know, I'm there to, here we go. I'm there to get trained up for business, get trained up for expanding in my assignment. Some of you only know me as a content creator. Some of you only know me as a minister, but I was actually a businessman before I was even a minister. And now I was there because I knew that God's like, he's expanding my territory. He wants me to go and influence the culture in a greater way, which is going to be through business. And then we found out this news. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I'm just trying to gather everything. It was hard because you hear this news and you're in this event and you're still networking and you're still there and you're still going from thing to thing. And so like there's these moments of conversation and liveliness and like even fun while we're at this event. And it's like you're in it and you're like it's like all the pain goes away, and then all of a sudden you're back in your hotel room, or you're in the elevator by yourself, or you're sitting at the pool, and then all of the grief just goes whoosh, it just like rushes back in. And so like I've been battling these waves of grief, and um and I'm like, why? Because I didn't even know him personally. I never met him. Never met him in person. And I think there's probably a lot of people who kind of feel the same way. Like, why does this hurt so much? Why does my soul feel like it got shot? And I was thinking about it, and here's what I realized. I realized a few things. One of the biggest things that I realized was Charlie was one of the brightest lights for our generation to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with a broken world. Like, he was a missionary. He wasn't just a political commentator. He was a missionary. A few days before he died, a few days before, let me speak very accurately. A few days before he was assassinated, a few days before he was martyred, he was on a podcast and he was asked the question, "What do you want to be known for before you die?" And he said, "I want to be known for the courage of my faith." I've watched this guy for years. I've studied this guy. I've studied him. I've watched hours of his debates. I've watched his ability to just go into the absolute belly of the beast of college campuses across the country, and with one purpose, to just have conversations and just to help this next generation that's been absolutely brainwashed by the education system and by mainstream media and by social media. This generation has been absolutely been captivated by the devil, and he's been doing this extremely difficult work of engaging in conversations with people to help them see that there's freedom from all of that stuff. There's freedom from being offended all the time. There's freedom from being confused about your gender. There's freedom from thinking like that you're a victim and you can't overcome in this world. There's freedom from your sin. There's freedom from your shame. There's freedom from death itself. And when you have a guy like that, and I think too, you know, for me, why it hurt me so much is because of my personal assignment. You know, I see like we have about 500 people watching right now. And you guys, most of you've probably been following me for a while. And you guys see like what I do. and trying to help people interpret what's going on in the world through a biblical perspective and help people just like get some sense about what's going on. And I look at Charlie like I look at him like a big brother. I look at him like he's my leader. He's been my hero. He's been my Paul. I'm like as if I was his remote Timothy. I'm looking at him and how he articulates and how and his compassion for people, which is so crazy, man. All of the stuff, all the things people saying him about him being a racist and all that sort of stuff. It's like it's so clear you haven't actually spent a lot of time listening to what he's actually saying. You're just taking a clip. You're just following the clip. You're following what everybody else is interpreting what he's saying, but you haven't actually spent the time to listen to what he's saying. You haven't spent the time to watch him actually engage with people who are black, white, male, female, poor, rich, who are Christians, non-Christians. It like his ability to just like work with all of that is incredible. And as somebody who had like it took me like a long time to actually find the courage to have my voice to just go out and say what God was telling me to say. I've always respected him. And it's almost like here's one way that I would describe it. If you've ever played sports and you've ever like been on a sports team and you've had like there was someone on your team who was like the 5-star athlete and you knew like, hey, like doesn't matter what team we're up against, we got that person on our team. The kid that's like been held back 2 or 3 grades and he's like 10 times taller than everybody else and way more athletic. And you're like, dude, who cares who we're up against? We got that person on our team. We're gonna crush this. And you never really realize it because it's very like there's so much security and comfort with like someone who's like the true forerunner in those in that sport or on that team or in the fight. And then that person, that athlete on your team gets injured and then they're on the bench the entire season. And then it's up to everybody else on the team to like figure it out and pull up their bootstraps and say, "Oh my gosh, nobody worked harder than that guy. Nobody stayed up later, nobody woke up earlier, nobody sacrificed more, nobody held other people accountable more. Nobody took criticism more than that guy. And now we got to carry that same weight." So when he died, it was like instantly, I think anybody who felt that in the spirit, they felt the weight hit them. They felt the weight hit them of, okay, I'm personally responsible to fill in the gap in some way. Do you feel that? Let me know if you feel that. Because I feel that. I feel that overwhelmingly. I also think it's like it's like I don't think I don't think darkness is merely the absence of light. I think we've really reduced what darkness actually is so much, and I think the devil loves how much we've reduced what darkness actually is. I don't think darkness is merely the absence of light. I think darkness actually has a substance to it. I think darkness has a weight to it. I think darkness that we know from what the Bible says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, rulers of darkness, and hosts of wickedness in the spiritual realm. We know that there are real, living, eternal, spiritual forces of darkness that are not just the absence of the light. There's something completely different. It is a force, it is a substance. And I think when he died, when his light went out, it was like as if it was 12 o'clock noon outside, bright day, and someone flipped a switch and then the lights went off. I think that's what happened in our spirit. I think we felt that in our spirit. We felt we've been taking that type of courage for granted for far too long. And then when that light was snuffed out, we felt the weight of darkness hit us. We felt this man anointed by God, anointed by the power of the Holy Spirit, when this man was anointed to hold back darkness to such a degree, we didn't even realize how much he was up against. And as soon as he died, it all came hitting us. We felt it. We felt it first, and then we saw it second. Because you felt it in your spirit, like it was like, oh, like it just hit me. It hit me in my soul in such a violent way. And then it was like, it was just the news of it hit me. It was the speed of light. It just hit me. And then you start to see how it's exposing all of the darkness around us and other people who are cheering his assassination on, who are celebrating, who are mocking and laughing and saying he had it coming. And you know what's so crazy is, like, when I look at all that stuff, when I look at all the people who just are have all this vitriol coming out of them, I'll be very honest with you. Here's what's so crazy. Genuinely, I'm not even mad at them. I don't even have, and I'm not saying that, like, don't get it twisted, y'all. Like, I'm mad. I'm angry. But when I see people who respond to this in the way that they've responded, and they're laughing and they're mocking and they're celebrating, it's like, I don't even have the capacity to try to convince you. I don't even have the capacity. Like, the only way that you can respond to something like this, the way that you did, the way that you just did, shows me that you are so darkened in the mind. You are so darkened in your heart. You're so far from God. It's practically hopeless for you. And I don't want to believe that it's hopeless. I want to believe that the gospel, the message of the good news of Jesus, is still the power of God unto salvation as we keep on sharing it. Like the same way where that message hit Saul after he watched Stephen get martyred, and it was the right time and the lights came back on for him. It's hard though. Like, it's hard to see this and be that way. But I think God is just giving me a grace of, like, I'm not excusing any of it. Are you kidding me? It's horrific. It's horrific. The stuff that I've been seeing, it's horrific. But then what's also interesting is the opposite is happening. You're having people who have been atheists. You're having people who are on the left who vote Democrat. And you see these people coming out and they're like, oh my gosh, like, I don't even believe in God. And I think I need to go to church this Sunday. It is like, there is this, I just watched a video on Instagram of this woman who was referring to this as like the sifting of the wheat and the chaff. Like, God is using this to actually bring it all to the surface and show who is completely given over to darkness and who is actually a part of the light. And you know what? I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to just say it. It's also in the leadership of the church. It's in the leadership in business. It's in leadership in politics. When you see Congress simply motion to offer 1 minute of silence in honor of Charlie Kirk, regardless of whether you agree with him or not. I thought we had the freedom of speech in this country. I thought what we wanted as a country. It sounds like everybody wants it now. Everybody wants to have conversations now. Everybody wants to dialogue now. This man built a career on simply wanting to have dialogue with people and sharing his opinions and saying, hey, best opinion wins. I'm open to talk with anybody. Would literally set up tents at college campuses and debate college students, hundreds of college students, for hours just to have conversations. I bet you his mind was changed on a lot of things because he did that. How could you not? How could you, like, if you're willing to just get in front of hundreds of people on a weekly basis and debate people, it's either going to make you're either going to prove yourself right and get more convicted, or you're going to learn something reframe your perspective, and then grow. Like it's impossible. It's impossible to not grow by doing that. But when you have Congress literally offer a moment of silence to honor him, and you have people, Democrats in Congress, literally shouting in the middle of that moment of silence, it's demonic. It's a demonic manifestation. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no reasonable explanation for that type of response other than it's demonic. I'm not saying that everybody who's confused about how to interpret him is demonized. I'm not saying that. I know that there's a lot of people who've been brainwashed by the left-wing media, who haven't processed their own trauma in life, who don't know how to have a civil dialogue because they were never trained to. And then they just see clips, and what's happening? They're being brainwashed and they don't know how to interpret this situation. I don't even blame them. I would implore them, before they start making brash judgments about this person, to actually go spend at least 7 hours watching his debates. Spend at least 7 hours. I'm not saying go watch 7 hours of people commenting on his debates, people reacting to his debates. Go watch 7 hours of his debates. Spend one day watching it. Your perspective will probably change. But then there's a lot of people who are showing that they're taken captive by the kingdom of darkness, and Jesus still wants to win those people over too. I'm going to share something very personal with you guys that, Lord, should I share it? Okay, I'm going to share it. One of the reasons why this hit me so hard, a month and a half ago, I was in Colorado with my family. We were doing a little vacation together up in the mountains. And I had a dream. And the dream, there were some details in the dream I don't feel released to share. Maybe on a later date. But there's one detail of the dream that I feel I feel total permission from God to share it. In the dream, I was wearing a blue suit, a white shirt with a red tie. And I was in the Oval Office of the White House. And I was alone. There was no one else in the Oval Office of the White House but me. And I was on my face, and I was weeping and travailing. And I really didn't know why I was weeping. But what I felt was, I felt the pain of the entire nation. And it was overwhelming. And that's why I was on my face worshiping, or not worshiping, but weeping in the Oval Office in this dream. Dressed in a blue suit with a white shirt and a red tie. And then at the same time, it was like when you see like two, like you put two food coloring dye drops in water, like a green one and a yellow one, and then you swirl it and you see the colors kind of swirl together. That's what was going on in my spirit, with like, I was feeling the pain of everything that the nation is feeling. And at the same time, I was feeling the presence of God. It was like in the midst of some horrific thing, I just knew God was doing something so powerful. It was like the fear of God hit me. It wasn't just like this casual comfort of like God patting you on the back and saying it's going to be okay. It was, oh my God, you are almighty and you are going to do something You are already doing something so intense right now in the midst of this grief. And I woke up, this was a month and a half ago. And I didn't even know, I had no idea what it would have been about. I just remember I shared with my wife. I was like, I don't know what to do about this dream, but I feel like God is like repositioning me in the spirit. Like God is giving me. Some of you are like, what the heck does that mean? It means like God is giving me like a new assignment, like a new authority, a new mission. And I don't know what it is, but it was, I'll never forget it. And then Charlie Kirk gets killed this week. And the same feeling I had in that dream is the same feeling I've had the past few days. There's been people who've been posting things, saying things to the effect of, they don't know what they just did. And even when I say they, like, yeah, you could say the left. Yeah, you could say, yeah. I mean, I justice matters. Figuring out what happened and who did it, it matters. Those details matter. They matter to Erica Kirk. They matter to the kids. They matter to the rest of us. Those details matter. And at the same time, there's a greater truth about what has really happened that we already know the answer to. And the answer is that this was demonic. This was an attack from the pit of hell. This was a strategic takeout by the kingdom of darkness. Little did they know that Charlie's last breath on earth was followed by his first breath in heaven in a brand new body with King Jesus. Little did they know they didn't win this. They didn't win this. They didn't win it in his life personally. He's in heaven. It was so crazy about our faith. He's literally in heaven right now, and he wouldn't want to come back. I know that sounds offensive. It's not offensive. It's just the reality of what awaits us when we go and step into eternity with King Jesus, and we realize, oh my gosh, King Jesus, you wipe away every tear. Everything makes sense. And I understand how sovereign you are and how you're even going to work out that evil for the good of my kids. Like that's the type of revelation that we get when we go to heaven. And he's in heaven right now, and he's looking at what's going on. And you know what's really crazy? This is what's even crazier. There are people all over the world. There's literally videos of people in South Korea. They're holding vigils for Charlie Kirk. There's people in the UK holding vigils for Charlie Kirk. It's like it's global. And I can tell you this. Charlie Kirk is not impressed by any of it. He's not impressed by any of it. He's not impressed by the massive response that's being poured out by people across the globe. You know what he's impressed by right now? He's impressed by looking at the face of God right now. That's what he's impressed by. He's not impressed by anything happening here in response to the life that he gave up. He's literally looking at the face of Jesus and he's saying, nothing else compares to this. That's the hope that you and I have. That's the hope that you and I have. And we're going to get there. The Bible says in Philippians 1:21 that to live is Christ and to die is gain. His family lost him, but he gained. And we mourn, but we mourn not like the people of this world. We don't mourn without hope. We can mourn and we can weep, but at the same time, we have a hope. We have the hope. But we also got to get to work. These quotes, people saying they thought that they killed Charlie Kirk, but they just awakened a million more. The devil thought he took out Charlie Kirk for good. The devil thought that he silenced his voice for good. Little did he know, he actually awakened 1 million more. Probably more than that. We're on the cusp of something really special, man. We're on the cusp of a global revival. Jesus is coming back really soon. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. It could be any day now. It could literally be any day now. When you have stuff like this, excuse me. When you have stuff like this awakening this next generation. Yeah, you see how many people on social media are like, I haven't been to church in weeks. I'm going to go to church for the first time ever this week. People are getting saved. So let the demons shriek. Let the demons celebrate. Sorry, guys. Got a tickle in my throat. And this cold water is not helping. Let them shriek. Let them mock. Let them celebrate. Let them laugh. Let them laugh. They're not going to have the last laugh at the end of the story. Unless they repent, they're not laughing. They're not laughing. And God is going to flex some unimaginable judgment and revenge on every spirit and every person who refused to repent from those spirits. I hope they get saved. But God's going to get the last lick. My question, though, for those of you who are still on, and I'm probably just going to wrap it up in a minute, but I felt like I owed it to you guys to share what are my initial thoughts. This is my turning point. When I saw that video of Charlie bleeding out, something in me died. And I'm never going back. The coward in me died. The lazy man in me died. The fear of man in me died. Something was birthed in me. And you guys are going to see it. You guys are going to see it. You're going to see it in the content. You're going to see it in my business. You're going to see it in my partnerships. You're going to see it in my family. You're going to see it in my ministry. Game on. Game on. Lord, I pray for your favor and your healing power over Erica and her kids. I pray that you would protect them and keep them. And I pray, God, that myself and every person listening to this right now who knows that it's time to die, that they would really find their true life in this next chapter. It says in Revelation that we overcome the accuser by the blood of the Lamb, the word of our testimony, and we love not our own lives even unto death. I hope you'll join me. If you're ready to, you can click subscribe. Text me at the number on your screen, 402-799-4884. I think that's enough for today. But I'm excited to go on the journey with you. We got a lot of work to do.